Hi, my name is Alicia Klein, and I am the owner of Alicia Klein and Associates Dream Vacations. I started working with Rita on the Plan Your Year course and found it extremely valuable. The course was a 2-day live Zoom call where we worked through a workbook and implemented those ideas. By the second day of the workshop, I had 52 weeks of blog topics, social media topics, and newsletter topics. It was great having the time to really build what we were learning and to implement it. I even added a third day for myself to write the content for the first 2 months of the year. I absolutely love this course because it set me up on the right track for the new year. I highly suggest taking a course with Rita as you will learn so much and be able to implement it right away.
Hello, travel biz owner. Welcome to my corner of the travel industry, the Strategic Travel Entrepreneur Podcast. If you're ready to have fun, be inspired, get clarity, and take action in your travel business, then you're in the right place. Let's jump in. Hello, friends. Welcome to another episode. Quite honestly, I'm a little bit disheveled. So I wanted this week's episode to be kind of like my first reactions, my excitement over all the amazing features that we were going to learn about at Canva Create. Canva Create happened yesterday, if you're listening to this on Friday. It happened on Thursday, May 23rd. And there wasn't really anything very inspiring to me. I was kind of like, what? There were like a couple of things that I wish they touched on a little bit more that they talked on at the beginning. Like using, adding your brand voice, creating graphics, not just like photos, which reminded me, like it's using an AI feature. It reminded me of like probably what Midjourney does, but now you can probably do what Midjourney does within Canva and not need another subscription or anything. So I thought that was cool. It also had some really cool, like they talked about some really cool like video features, like enhancing voice on video. But other than that, I was like, is that it? Because they talked about Bulk Create, but Bulk Create has been around for some time. I've used it, so I'm like, okay. Then they talked about recordings, which they do have a feature that's very similar to Loom that is in Canva. So they call these recordings, and I'm like, but we knew about all of this. So I'm like, yeah, it was a snoozer fest for me. I was not that impressed. I think some things that might be helpful are what they created called work kits. So like you can create marketing strategies, sales presentations, and things like that from a template now instead of having to like start it like from square one. But even that, I was like, I don't know. Let me know your thoughts on, like, if you thought that anything was interesting or unique from Canva Create. You can send me a text. Just look at the show description. There's going to be a link to send your thoughts to Rita. And I just want to know if you were thinking the same thing as I was about Canva Create. I think, like, one of the coolest things is that they do now have a lot of integrations with apps. And that also includes some ads integration. So it looked like there were some ad integrations with Google, Amazon, and Meta. I'm not sure that like you can set up an ad from there, but like it almost seemed like you can set up the creative in Canva and then send it to wherever you wanted it to be sent, making it maybe a little easier. But I'm not. I hope it's not just me. I don't think it's just me. Now, I will say probably my favorite thing that I got out of Canva Create is I didn't know like how much good they did and like how big it is in their mission to do like good around the world. And so one of the things that they do is for every design created, they plant a tree. So they've planted 6.5 million trees. And so, if anything, like make more designs in Canva so that we can plant more trees. That was pretty neat. But other than that, I am not happy. So that's like my little Canva Create update for you. Another update, quick, I'll do much quicker job at updating this for you, is that on Tuesday, May 28th at 4 p.m. Eastern Time, I'm going to be doing an open house of the cruise content library. So if you'd like to walk around with me virtually, ask me any questions that you might have about the cruise content library, please join us. Just shoot me an email, put the subject line open house, and then inside say add me, and I will send you the link so that you can be on this Zoom room with us. But now let's get into the meat and potatoes of today's episode, which is really some mindset reframes. And so I will say that this was inspired by the fabulous Jen Lee, because I had heard her / seen her in a recent webinar that she had with Host Agency Reviews. And it's so interesting. Like, I just found it so fascinating how I have been in the travel industry mostly as a travel advisor, now kind of like in this travel educator, mentorship, strategist role. But I started back in 2010. And it's just interesting to me to see like how similar thoughts / excuses come up no matter what generation that you're kind of in within the travel industry. So it's almost like every new wave of travel advisors feels the same things. I know. So these 5 mindset reframes, I have definitely thought, I probably have thought all of them at some point in my career. And I thought it was just important to talk about these a little bit and break them down a little bit so that you are better equipped and so that you can start really working out that mind muscle, because that's what it is. Like, it's natural for us to think certain things, but we can't be stuck thinking certain things because we have to get to the next level. I mean, I will go to, again, like, you were bold enough, you probably got an LLC, you got an EIN number. There's all of these things that you did to register your business. You're probably working with a host agency. If not, you may have gotten like bonded with your state or however your process goes. Like, you went through the motions of creating a business. You also need to go through the motions of staying in business. And so we have to like swap out this negative thinking, this like Debbie Downer type of thoughts that are coming into our brain so that we can flourish and let possibilities happen. So the first mindset reframe. So you may have thought this, you may be thinking this. And this is the first one that was directly related to Jen Lee's presentation is, I'm nervous I won't fill my group trip. Which, being nervous, it's natural. I feel like all of us go through this. But instead of focusing on that I'm nervous, because the I'm nervous part of that statement then goes, it makes you excuse stack is what I'm going to call it. It makes you like, I'm nervous I won't fill my group because I'm not good enough. I don't know enough people, because no one will want to come with me, because no one wants to go on this trip, blah, 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 blah. And you just keep excuse stacking instead of looking at the possibilities of what could happen if you think on a bigger, larger scale. So you have to think that this trip, this group event, whatever it is you have planned, is bigger than you. So instead of thinking, I'm nervous I won't fill my group trip, you need to reframe and retrain your mind to thinking, how am I going to fill my group? Because when you think of the how, now you're thinking of the possibilities instead of all the like negative thinking that can come with being nervous, which again is a natural feeling, but we need to like think more on the positive side, the more expansive side, which is how am I going to fill my group? Once you start thinking about that, there's all sorts of angles. You're like, well, I'm naturally going to fill my tulip time cruise by like going to garden groups. I'm going to go to retiree places. I'm going to participate in this or that, where people who would be interested in a tulip time cruise might want to go to. It also, like, I'm nervous I won't fill my group, is giving yourself an out that it's okay not to fill the group. And yes, it's okay not to fill the group, but I also want you to start thinking that that is a non-negotiable. It is a non-negotiable that you fill your next group trip. You have to fill this group trip. Not only does filling this group trip, it will boost your confidence, it'll boost your revenue. You're going to deliver an impeccable experience. People are going to want to do this again with you. You need to commit to that. Being nervous and focusing on the nervousness gives you an out that, okay, I'm nervous about it, I don't really have to fill it. Where saying, how am I going to fill my group means like, of course I'm going to be filling my group. And this is the plan on how I intend to do it. So when you think you can't do it, I don't want you to think about the reasons you can't. I want you to think about the actions you're going to take to make it happen. Number 2 mindset reframe that I want you to think about. No one is buying travel with me. I know, and that may be like an absolute, but we all get into this. I see it in the Facebook groups all the time. Like, how do you get clients? Where do you find clients? What's this marketing tactic? Should I try this marketing tactic or whatever? No one is buying from me kind of gets you into that big black room of like doom. And we just cannot live in this doom and despair. Like I mentioned, we need to be about possibilities. It is a non-negotiable that we are going to be successful in our businesses. I need you to think about that. Not just think about that. I need you to repeat that until you start believing it. I am going to be successful at this business. Duh. It's the only outcome of me starting this business is that I am amazing at this business. If I'm not amazing at this business, then I have found something else that I'm amazing at and want to do. Failure is not an option. Like, you have to start just retraining your mind and thinking that instead of no one is going to buy travel with me, where can I find the right travel buyers? Because again, we are going to be successful travel business owners, and successful business owners do not think about what they can't do. They think about how they can make it happen. So no one is buying travel from me is a very passive way to start thinking about your business. Whereas, where can I find the right travel buyers is more of an aggressive way, and not aggressive like, let me be like the slimy sales ball over here. It's more aggressive and assertive is probably a better word, being like, no, I made this business. I'm going to have a profitable business. So we need to find how we can make that happen. So where can I find the right travel buyers? It goes very hand in hand with the how am I going to fill my group, number 1. And you do have to do some workings. And I think like this is all about setting intentions on like, who do you want to serve, why it is that you want to serve, and doing that. I love talking about the onion layer exercise and getting really deep down, because once you're able to identify to the core why it is you do, everything is going to be so much easier for you. Like, you're going to know exactly like, okay, I need to attend these events. Okay, I need to do this. Okay, I need to talk about this on social media. This is what I need to email my people. So look at it from the assertive and confident travel advisor that you are. Number 3, I need XYZ before I can sell travel. I need to have my website before I sell travel. I need to have my social media up before I sell travel. I need to have my logo done before I sell travel. I need to have business cards, blah, 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 blah. You are giving yourself an out. They're all very much connected. You don't need anything to sell travel other than like making sure you're legally legit. You got your LLC, your EINs, kind of like what I talked about, and that you have your IATA number, whether that's you've gotten your own, or that you've gotten like you've worked with a host agency. But those are the two things that you really need to sell travel: your credentials and all your legalities and insurance and everything set up. Because that's all that it takes really to sell travel. Do you need a little bit more stuff? Sure, there's a little bit more stuff that you can do, but there is nothing stopping you from selling travel except for yourself and these beliefs that you need to have everything set up. Like, really, all that you need to do are those two things, and then start making phone calls. Then start sending out messages like, hey, I just started this business. I would love to be connected with XYZ if you know anybody that would love to do this type of travel. So you need to reframe that I need certain things in my business before I can sell travel to I have everything I need to sell travel already within me, because I 100% believe that this is true. You have everything that you need within you. And why do I know that? Like, I will never forget a story of when I was working in the theme parks that someone told me the difference between somebody who's in leadership and not leadership is their ability to ask questions and find answers. You don't need to have all the answers, but you do need to know how to ask questions and where to find answers if you don't know the answers. Do you know how to ask questions? Perfect. You're good. You are golden, my friend. Really. And this goes again, like thinking about theme parks and like just any sort of leadership position. People care more that you have confidence in your answers and competence in your answers. Even if the answer is, you know what, I'm not really sure about that, but I'm going to look into that for you. People, and myself included, love that. If you come at me with, I don't know, okay, well, go figure it out, I will become very frustrated. So again, this is like making yourself open to the possibilities. All you need is to make an offer. And making an offer is, I can like help you with your travel planning. And then a way to collect the money from them. So once you have kind of like all your legalities filled out, you need your offer, which is your travel planning services, and you need a way to sell it, aka how to collect money from them. So your legalities, your travel industry accreditations, what you're going to be selling, and how you're going to collect the money in order to sell that and make a profit from that. That is all you need. Everything else is fluff. Don't think I need just one more training. I need just to learn this, just to learn that. Stop holding yourself back. I'm speaking to myself also, because I am a chronic holder backer procrastinator. And we just have to get out of our own ways. Do it scared. Get comfortable with the uncomfortable. You believed in yourself so much that you got your travel agency set up. You have to keep believing in yourself, that blind faith that it's all going to work out. You have everything you need inside of you to sell travel. Number 4, I just spent all this time planning this vacation and then they booked it on their own. Now, I've very much been there. And I want to barf in my mouth every time that I see this on my Facebook feed when one of my friends or former colleagues or whatever has booked a trip and they don't come to me to book the trip. Or they hadn't even like pitched it to me. Especially like family members who have like probably changed my diapers when I was younger, or giving me like a bottle when I was younger or whatever like that. That hurts deep. I'm like, you did all these things for me, and like you've seen every part of me, but you can't trust me with your travels. It doesn't make sense, especially when other people like will spend tens of thousands of dollars, and they definitely didn't wipe my butt when I was younger. This was a way weird place to go. But I also, like, before we reframe this, I want you to know this is a very common thing. This happens to all of us. It doesn't have to happen repeatedly. And I want you to learn definitely faster than I learned, and definitely faster than some of our colleagues have learned, that this does not have to be the way. I also have recently heard that some host agencies don't allow you to charge a fee. So just like our host agency red flags episode, red flag. If your host agency doesn't allow you to charge a fee and you are an independent contractor, that is a red flag, my friend. So do with that what you will. But how do we reframe? I just spent all this time on the trip and they booked it on their own, because it is so frustrating. And you have to get into the frame of mind and think instead, my time and energy is worth charging a trip management fee. My time and energy is worth charging a trip management fee. It may take you a couple trips to get there, but I need you to know, because you're frustrated for that. You just spent all this time and energy putting somebody's trip together, and then you didn't even get paid for it. So instead of having angst that people do that, you need to protect. This is a boundary that you need to put up for yourself, in knowing and valuing yourself that your time and energy is worth charging a trip management fee, and the right types of clients will happily pay it. The even better types of clients will be like, that's all you're charging? And I say this because I've heard it from other travel advisors who have told me their stories of clients coming up to them being like, yeah, they were shocked that I only charged X amount of money and all that. You and your expertise are worth it. Nobody ever questions like a lawyer's fees, a doctor's fees, a plumber's fees, a car mechanic's fees. Like, nobody questions other professionals who have a lot of time and a lot of expertise, whether because they studied or because they have personal experience doing these things. Nobody questions how much they charge. They just have a pain and they want it to be fixed. They will pay what they need to be fixed. So if somebody doesn't want to charge your planning fee, your trip management fee, however you call it, the pain is not great for them. And that means that they're not your best client. Let them do their own thing. They may regret that decision, but at least you have the peace of mind that you're not working with somebody who doesn't value your time. And then reframe number 5. So I'm gonna play a little bit of devil's advocate here with number 4. You just spent all this time planning a trip because your time and energy is worth charging a trip management fee. The only way someone could travel well is by working with me. Duh. And this one, I feel like we all, I love the confidence friend, I do. And we've all been there. But There are so many different ways to travel, and there's also so many different ways to having a travel business that you now are starting to put blinders on yourself. So we can't think that we're the be-all end-alls, because there's probably other business owners who do things a lot better than we do. There's certainly people that do things a lot not as great as we do. And then there's people that love to plan their trips that have really great experiences, and they've planned that all on their own, or they've gotten some education from an influencer online, or they've read up on different books, or their favorite like TV personalities or things like that. So there are multiple ways to have really, really amazing travel experiences. It's not that you need to focus on you being the be-all end-all. You need to reframe that with the right people will see the value in my expertise and services. And really lean into that servant leadership is really what I go back to, is of being of service to somebody else. And you can't be of service to the right people if you're like, pick me up, I'm the best one that's ever been. Now, do I want you to have confidence and toot your horn? Sure, but I also want you to be empathetic. I also want you to want to help other people out with that servant type of spirit in wanting to help people and providing value to other people. So there is plenty of business for everyone. There's, again, also multiple ways for people to get this business. And there's multiple ways for you to also generate revenue. So what is it like? What's that song? Roses really smell like poo poop. Everybody's poo-poos kind of is very smelly. So, confidence, yay, because I know we started a little bit not with confidence, but also don't be like overly confident that you put blinders on. And blinders on meaning you close yourself off to some sorts of like possibilities and things that could happen because you only thought things could be done one way or your way or whatever it might be. So I hope that these mindset reframes have helped. We're now going to start thinking, instead I'm nervous to fill my group, how am I going to fill my group? No one is buying travel from me. We're going to change that up to, where can I find the right travel buyers? I need blah, 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 blah before I can sell travel. You're going to change that up to, I already have everything within me that I need to help me sell travel. I spent all this time working on this trip and then they booked it on your own. Is going to be, my time and energy is worth charging a trip management fee. And then the only way someone could travel well is by working with me. To the right people will see the value in my expertise and services. I hope that this episode was helpful. Please shoot me back a text and let me know what you thought, and I will see you here next week. Thanks for joining me on the podcast today. Remember to check out the show notes for all relevant links and resources from today's show. See you next time.